I'm just glad for
Pull it up to them.
Proposals defect.
That's something like that.
That's where we go.
Pastor Miller,
No, it's actually down.
Don Miller, would you please lead us in prayer before we start the meeting?
It's actually down.
A couple times when I was here, I told a story, and Gary Naylor liked it, so I've got one that I'm going to tell again before I pray today. Last Sunday at the Bentonville Christian Church, I preached about Jesus having a sense of humor, and so this hope that this has a little sense of humor. My wife got this email from a classmate of hers. My cousin just called and asked if I would loan her $300 to help her pay her rent. Those who know me know that I'm always willing to help out friends and family. I told her to give me some time to think about it, and I would call her back. Before I called her back, my aunt called and told me that my cousin was lying and not to give her the money. She goes on to say that the real reason my cousin wanted the $300 was to get her boyfriend out of jail so that she could be under the same roof as him on his birthday. I thought about that for a minute and decided to give her the $300 because we all need help at all times. So I called my cousin and told her to come and get the money. A couple hours later, I got a call from the jail. It was my cousin crying, screaming, and asking why I gave her counterfeit money. My response: so you and your boyfriend could be under the same roof for his birthday. I told that story during the Bible school at Fayette County Jail this last week, and they all laughed at that. But one fellow said that was true for me. So sometimes life takes you maybe where you don't know you're going to go. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this time we just have to come and pray together with this group. I just pray, Father, you'll help us to realize that in life it takes a sense of humor to get through. We know, Father, your son Jesus had a sense of humor as he told his stories day in and day out. Father, be with these folks just now as they meet, and may they have the wisdom to make good decisions for the county. Give them an opportunity to meet together in patience and simply get the job done. Father, we're thankful for your love for us, sending your son Jesus to this world to provide for us an opportunity of eternal life, but also, Father, abundant life each and every day. With all these things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Don. All stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I guess we should call the meeting to order first. I'll call this meeting of Fayette County Commissioners to order. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I move that we approve them as presented.
Second.
Been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Highway Department, Mr. Corum.
I don't have much today other than we're putting in a culvert up on 900. Got a culvert crew out and we're cleaning off a road that we had some issues with losing some stone when we was chip sealing. And then I go back to Berman when the weather gets better, or we know we ain't gonna have some rain coming in, and we're gonna go back to grading roads again. We had a little bit of a mess here recently with grading because we had a big monsoon come in after we graded the roads. So we tried to patch them up the best as we could. We'll get back at it again as soon as we get the chance to.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
David Baker.
Have a 144 for a part-timer. Name is Dwayne Cheek. Older guy, older than me. A lot of varied experience, and seems like a good guy.
He's a pretty good kid.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and so giving him a chance and see how things go, as pending your approval, of course. That's
Motion to approve the 144 report.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 144. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
Okay, and the other thing, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the standard operating procedures book, but it's done. And I don't know if you've had a chance to read it or not, but it's sooner we
got 2 of the 112 pages.
as soon as we get that, we're sort of operating with a very minimal one. The one that's in place now is old and not, I don't think, adequate. So the sooner we get that approved, the better. And then the last thing I have, I don't know if you saw the letter of the, there's a federal 911 grant, and it needs to be, we need to say yay or nay on whether we won't intend to pursue the grant. So you should have that letter in front of you.
Yeah, I had done email.
Yeah, I've got an actual version.
I saw the sample.
Right.
I haven't seen the
That's the
original.
written
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I'm not seeing it.
This is a 60/40
Right,
grant.
Right.
It's federal dollars.
Right.
Correct, David?
that's correct. It's coming
And it
through the
can
state, coming
Go
through.
towards basically just about anything within the state 911 revenue budget.
Just like our
type.
budget, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, because it's not sustainable, of course, it can't go through for wages, but
Right.
anything other than that. And the pressing issue now is our radios and our radio console is coming out of parts support in December. And so that's the thing that's on the radar.
We'd like
That's,
to update,
yeah.
upgrade the console, and
It's not something you want to wait till it breaks, that's for
Right.
sure.
we want to start planning ahead.
That's right.
We're trying to plan ahead.
That's right.
Now,
Think
it
about
may
thinking
happen
about
tomorrow, but
it. Right.
the need. But hopefully, through this grant, we can fund, better able to fund the console needs. So.
And I have a starting the process of getting people to come down and give me quotes. I got a guy coming in at 1 o'clock today to give me a quote on everything and the recommendations. You know, we can go different directions, but we'll try to get 2 Motorola and at least 1 competitor to see what it looks like, and then do a site visit, perhaps down south, to see what they've come up with a different solution. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that works. On the other hand, I've been told by others not to go that direction, so it's requires some study.
Yeah.
Those things do.
Yeah, yeah,
It seems like in government, things are never quite always what they seem
right,
to be at first.
right.
Okay.
Well, I would move, in reference to this grant, I would move to allow David and Diana to proceed on with the grant application, and we'll just see how it comes out.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
And I don't think that letter means, all that means is we intend to pursue it, so,
Yeah.
okay?
David, on the SOP, let's try to set a goal for when, do we want to try to get this approved by the next meeting?
I would like to. The thought is, get something in place, and then, of course, every year by October, do a full review. But get something in place and have it be out there, and have people, any interested party, give suggestions and say, hey, this is not quite right, change this and stuff like that. And we have the freedom to change it, but I think we need to have something in there.
You have to
As soon-
start somewhere, don't you?
Well, yeah, and if you don't, typically, it's such a daunting task that if you don't get on it, then it never gets done, and there it sits. And most importantly, in that particular SOP is the active shooter, active assailant policy. That is just, you just have to have it. And so the sooner we have that in, the better. It needs to be there.
And then, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 911 Advisory Board did vote to create a year or an anniversary date, I think it's by the end of November, for all department heads to go through their portions of the SOPs.
Right.
And update and sign off,
Yep,
if there isn't any changes, to sign off on
That's
those,
right.
verifying that, yes, these are the protocols we want to operate under.
yeah. And having something, getting it, 112 pages, it seems like a lot, but I have a feeling it's gonna grow, because that's just the nature of it. Of course, you can't have a policy for everything, it'd be 5,000 pages long and no one would read it, but we gotta have a workable one, that's for sure. And but a yearly review, because that, oftentimes you look at an SOP and it's dated 1994 at the police department. One time, I remember we used to joke that it said we were carrying 357 Magnums, and we all got a chuckle out of that. But so you got to keep up with them.
But if I understand it right, you basically wrote this since you took over as director.
Right,
There was very little for you to go by.
right, and it's an adaptation of Bartholomew counties, and a little bit of here, a little bit of there. Some I just wrote. So,
Okay.
yep.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
I think we can look through it between now and our next meeting,
it's light
and
reading.
hopefully,
It's not very entertaining, but
yeah, hopefully we can vote on it next
Yeah.
meeting.
It's when we vote on the 911 advisory board.
Right, we'll vote on it and put it in place, and then the department heads can modify it as. I think what we're doing is we're approving the use of this manual, right? The
Right.
commissioners will approve the use of the manual, and then
Right.
the department heads, on a yearly basis, will update it and upgrade it.
Right. And the dispatch protocols for each department in there are all based on what they've written already. It's not something new.
Right.
It's basically taking the ones that they came up with, putting them in official format,
Mhm.
all the same, and so that it really is what is there now, or what they had hoped would be there now, and it's but in an official formal context.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you, David, I appreciate that.
yes, sir.
Steve Bills?
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Good morning. I'm here basically just trying to get approval to pursue those individuals for employment that are on that list that I just handed you. They're all part-time positions. They all have not been interviewed. A couple have been. But prior to going through that process, Michelle has already done background checks and they came out fine.
All five of them have passed the background checks.
Yes.
And they're all gonna be part-time, all five of them are?
If they were all hired, they would be part-time, yes. I'm not sure we're going to necessarily hire all those individuals, but we do need some help. We're like everybody else. It's just hard to find.
This will just help speed the HR up, won't it, if we go ahead and approve them?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve these five individuals if they are. I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 5 individuals presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Michael King.
Morning. Morning. You got my monthly report there. You can see that our emails, we had 222,000, which jumped up by a good 60,000 or so than what we normally had. And you can see on that little graph there how much spam kind of hit us each day for the last 30 days. So we've been fighting that. We've been fighting more of those hacking attempts on the email server, where I've been blocking those out, kind of been playing cat and mouse on that. I've also been doing a lot of webinars the last 2 weeks. I've done about 11 webinars in the last 2 weeks on cybersecurity and some of the different threats that are going on. And I also talked to a couple vendors for security operations centers that monitor that. Now, granted, the one yesterday gave me the low price of $2,000 a month, which made me snicker because I was like, really, that's a little extreme for a low price. But what those companies do is they have a device that sits on your network that monitors your incoming and outgoing traffic to try to stem off some of the problems that coming in before it comes in. They can catch it and call you and go, hey, you've got an issue. And while I think that $2,000 a month is a little extreme, I do think that that's a service that, with the ongoing hacking threat and ransomware threat that's out there, it might be something that's necessary. I mean, I'm starting to the way the environment in the cybersecurity world looks. It's starting to look like almost like you need that, kind of like you need fire sprinklers. You don't need them until there's a fire, but if you don't have them and there's a fire, you go, man, those sprinklers would have been nice. And it's one of those expenses that we may need. I am looking into. It's something that we may need to consider. But just with the threats that are out there, it may not be an option as the years go on.
Do you have very much communications with other counties, IT personnel?
I try to, but they don't tend to call me back because I'm not in their county. They've got other people to deal with. And I understand that.
Just to see what they're using.
Yeah, I know Randy in Rushville, he uses 3 different phone companies for his internet. So they have 3 different internets that come into their network. So if one fails, it goes to the other one. If that one fails, it goes to the other one.
And
So
they're
it's
paying for 3 services.
So they're paying for 3 services. Now we're only paying for one, and there are times when, again, you don't until you need it. It seems like an unnecessary expense, but with how much everything goes through the internet now, it shows that right now, if our internet goes completely down, we have to scramble in the courts because everything goes through Odyssey. Well, if they don't have access to Odyssey with e-filing, they have no files unless they printed them off just by happenstance.
But now, don't we actually have 2 email services coming in to here because of the health department?
Health department has Comcast, so I could possibly
piggyback
the whole network onto that as a option.
to get us through the day?
To get us through. Now, last time Metronet seriously went down, I believe Comcast went down as well. Because what happened, somebody cut a fiber optic line coming into the area, and that's not something that you can avoid.
I was gonna say, so what do you do?
Yes, on that point, there would really be nothing we could do. But anyway, it's just that kind of redundancy. There are things that we need to look into, and I am looking into, but as normal, it just comes down to money. Now, another thing that we've got going on, this is for Bill Gray and kind of me as well, the controls for the courthouse for the heating and cooling. He gave you the quote there from Johnson Controls.
You guys should have a copy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's $17,933. What they're going to do is come in and replace a couple control units upstairs in the attic. And because what we're on now is the Allerton system that was installed with the courthouse. Now that company, as far as I know, went out of business, if not right as the courthouse was finished or fairly close thereafter. So obviously there was no support from them. And that's been, 14 years now that stuff's been there. And you know how electronics are, that sometimes they'll go extreme amounts, but sometimes they fail after a couple of years. Well, we've had a couple controls fail, and those are what does the automated heating and cooling. So Bill's been controlling all this stuff manually, which, in a home situation wouldn't be a bad deal necessarily, but when you're talking, 80 rooms, and I don't know how many VAV control boxes there are.
So it's hard to run them gun stuff, I don't know.
And this would also, what they're gonna do is they're gonna install controls that are compatible with their system as these fail with Johnson Control System. And this will also update the software on the jail side and put all the jail and courthouse HVAC stuff on the same control system. Right now, he's doing 2 separate ones. So this will streamline things. It'll also bring us up-to-date software on the jail side, which is currently 4 years or 5 years out of date. And I know he's asked for other quotes from at least one other vendor was supposed to get him a quote. And it's been a month that he's been waiting for that quote. So I think that's fair to say that they had their chance and they're not following through. I know he's called them multiple times and emailed and that kind of thing. So I think we need to go ahead and get a vote on this to see if we can go, and I have no idea where the money's coming from. That'd be a,
We'll just have to look and see, because
Yeah.
this is something that needs to be done before cold weather hits, because once cold weather hits, it's gonna be a nightmare.
yeah,
Keep this stuff going.
without the automation, especially once cold weather hits, if it gets down to 30 one night, we're gonna have some offices that freeze and other ones that are barely there, or we're gonna have other issues going on with boilers and such, so.
Okay, Michael and Bill, the 17.9 is just step number 1.
No, that's everything.
That's everything.
That's gonna do everything.
The only thing we're
Jail
not-
And the courthouse, all the controls, what they're doing is the Arlington controls we have that are good, we're gonna stay. They're just gonna replace them as needed, but the cost won't be near as what it is now, because everything will be in place, all the software will be in place. So all I'll have to do is actually change
The individual control.
controls.
So how much more money are we talking once the old system is completely gone?
Gary, it could be years before that happens. I mean, as long as they're running, there's no sense to replace them.
So probably we could be updating the software again
Not the software.
before the rest of it's done.
Well,
Well, that's possible.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
it could be
possible.
another, it
But
could be
that's-
another 10 or 15 years before some of these controls go bad.
I mean, it's been 14 years, and I've still got controls in here that's doing great.
Okay.
And as long as we can keep an eye on them, and that's where we're at here with the software. I can't watch them, so I don't know what's
I
going
see.
on.
And the control in question that went bad is the one that's on the boiler in that system. So that's one that's running all the time.
Yeah, it's
Get,
been a
you
lot
know,
of
sending commands and all that stuff. Whereas like the ones in these VAV boxes for saying here, they may not get many commands. It may not have much power going through them. So it may last forever. Who knows? The only thing we're not sure on the quote is whether or not they're including a PC in this. So if we have to supply a computer or not. If we do, obviously I can get a computer and take care of that. So that's the only thing we're unsure on this quote. If they include the PC, then great. But I think it's something that we need to move forward on.
And this will come in this year's budget then?
Yeah.
Okay, come due for this year's budget. Most likely we can use that line item in the Kim Cap if you don't have it in your maintenance and upkeep, Bill.
I'll have to look at it and see where we're at, 'cause I have no idea.
Okay. I would move that that due to the lack of response from other vendors on our request for quotes, that we move forward with the Johnson bid of, I believe you said 17,933,
Yep, 17,933 even.
so that we can get this done before cold weather moves in.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to accept Johnson Controls bid for $17,933. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
And I
I'll
just
get with
think,
Jane later on and see if we can find.
Jane, I think it needs to state in the minutes that we did seek out quotes and.
Due to a lack of response from other vendors.
Yeah.
Could I get a signed, do you guys have a copy of that? Get a signed copy of it, sorry. Thank you, Michael.
You just need one or two?
Just one, and then I'll get it to Jane after I pack it.
Just needs one signature, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it.
Yeah, it just needs one signature.
Any word from Shamos?
No more than, first October, this is it.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
there. I
I
have,
have to pick up the phone and,
yeah, I'll call.
like, once a week.
Once an hour.
Once a- Yeah, once a day, maybe. I was willing to give them once a week.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do, but we need to get on, we need, well, they know we need to get on it, so we're gonna run out of
I'm
weather.
concerned about weather.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
And ladies.
And that's pretty much all I've got, unless you guys have something for me.
Yes, Michael, there was talk, you had mentioned that you were seeking quotes for additional cameras, security cameras for the animal shelter and the highway department.
I have not heard back from them. I'll follow up.
Could you follow up on that?
I don't know if Ron's gotten with them and I just haven't told, or if he just hasn't gotten with them because they've been busy. I'm not sure.
But once these are put in, even at these two departments, you'll maintain them, won't you? Or, I mean.
I can
You do the
somewhat.
service and whatnot.
Yeah, I can somewhat.
Yeah.
Security cameras are really not my area of expertise. It's one of the reasons I contact Ron's company, because that's one of the things that they're specialized in.
That's their specialty.
Yeah.
And the other thing is they have the labor to run the cable and all that kind of thing, whereas with just one person, it's a little hard to do all that.
I understand.
And then, but with cameras, some of it, it's just a matter of they go bad, you gotta replace them. There's nothing much that you can do to them. So as far as that goes, yes, I could replace a camera if, I just buy an exact same one, plug it in, I can do that kind of stuff. It just depends on what the problem
Well,
is.
it's just
so.
nice to have one go-to person
Yeah.
if there's an issue.
Yeah.
Even if
and-
you don't do it and you call Ron.
Yeah, as far as helping with the software and that kind of thing, yeah, I can do that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, if you could follow up on that.
yeah, I'll follow up with Ron and see what we can find out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks, Michael.
Ruth Nutty.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ruth. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Back in August, we talked about the recorder's software contract was expiring. I do have now our amendment for a one-year extension of our current contract, so, because we talked about the possibility of reviewing it after a year since they're going through a buyout. I did not want to commit to another 5 years until I kind of have a chance to see how that goes. But I do now have it. They're calling it an amendment. The county attorney has had an opportunity to review it, and she tells me everything appears to be in order. The pricing is all the same as what it has been for the past 5 years. This is just simply an extension of our contract that actually expired in August, but we're still working under that. But this is just an extension to take us into August of next year. So I just need to get approval on that so that I can get that out to them.
I'll move to approve the extension.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you. I just need to get it signed then. It only calls for one signature.
Okay. I've got pen in hand.
I'll need a copy.
Guys are wearing me out this morning with photographs.
Okay, sure.
Ruth, while we're here, I think it was back shortly after I took over as commissioner, you were talking about purchasing a scanner,
Large format. Mhm.
large format for books and whatnot. Have you,
We haven't put that to bed yet. It's still on the table. I just need to justify in my own mind that I can do what I think I can do with it.
okay, you mean personnel-wise or
Yeah, and.
physical? I mean, I'm not sure
Well, if it.
whether it's what we want or
Right,
whether.
that
we
I will
can-
accomplish what I think I can accomplish with it.
Okay.
Yeah. But that is something that we would love to do.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ruth.
I'll get you a copy.
Jane Downard.
I just need to present two 144s, one to move my part-time person into the full-time payroll position being vacated by Stephanie Glover, and the other is to hire Katie Davidson to return as my part-time person.
Boy, you've been rough on people here
I'm
lately.
telling you. I've got Judge Freakby.
I moved to approve of 144.
Second.
You don't have me.
Take it easy on me.
Yeah.
The good news is that she's got a part-timer that's coming back. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. You can do that. Okay.
Derek starts tomorrow officially?
Officially, yes. Today is Stephanie's last day.
Warren?
Good morning.
Morning, Warren. How are
Give
you?
you an update on the paving program. You know, Alquina Road is done, and we're about $4,500 under the bid amount, so
That's good news.
that's really good. And then they're paving now on 200 West, just north of Substation Road. But they'll be paving today and tomorrow, should have it done tomorrow. So, looks like we'll be on target as far as the bid. We're close to it.
Very good.
Just having little trucking issues getting the mix down here from, coming from north of Richmond. It's a lot of round trip time. So he's got between 11 and 15 trucks is what they have.
Hmm.
And then,
Because the Cambridge plant is
I don't know what the,
booked, I mean, I assume?
yeah, they've got other work somewhere else,
Yeah.
north of Muncie and on 74. They're gonna be paving up at Reed Hospital this weekend, so.
Well, as
I
long
don't
as they
know.
get our job done.
Yeah, tomorrow's supposed to be done. And then we got pavement markings for the railroad crossings.
Oh, okay.
So they got 3 of those to do.
And Milestone will be doing that as well?
Their subcontractor is.
I mean,
Yeah,
sure.
be out of Greenfield. It's, I don't remember the name of it. But yeah, they'd be doing those. He said Wednesday or Thursday. Of course, all rain, weather,
Yeah.
it's sort of iffy on Thursday.
So
I
they'll
think
be
they
doing
do.
both tracks?
Yeah, there's one there at 300 North and 2 at the Sykes Road, 200 West. So there's 3, I think they're $750 a piece for those.
Must be good paint.
Yeah, yeah, there's overhead. So that's the bid price, so that's why we pay. That's all I have. I don't know if Jim Reese was here earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
He probably updated you on Bridge 25.
Yes,
The deck's poured,
Yeah.
yes.
he said he was getting out, wanted to get out there to make sure the steel workers were showing up to, finish putting in steel for the sides.
Yeah.
And that, he said that he had gotten a hold of, the contractor about getting a paver out there to
Mhm.
get asphalt put down at the
Yeah.
edge, or at the ends of the bridge. And right now, they're giving him a song and dance about
Into the
the
season.
pavers paving crews are busy.
Yeah, yeah,
He says, I don't know when I can get it there, but
yeah,
Jim felt confident that they would make it within their,
yeah.
within the contract, and,
Yeah, November 6th is,
they're
Completion
standing
date.
back now,
oh,
so, what pictures he sent me over, this week, that it looks good.
yeah.
Pictures,
yeah.
so,
And they need to have that asphalt down before you put the guardrail,
yeah.
then do the guardrail. Clean up. So, basically, well, that's all I have.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to Glover.
morning.
We've been here before, but I'm here to humbly request an extension of contract for Debbie Kidd in regards to helping with the balance of the books for the treasurer's office for 2017. Just the first part, just to get me started on the knowledge that she has for it, from my lack of knowledge on that part of it, with the reports not ever being done in quite a while. So I was requesting to have that extended, maybe 30 hours or something like that, not very long, just long enough to get instruction from her and the formulas and things that she used in regards to that, to help expedite this and get it along.
I don't feel like the county should be responsible, or that it should come out of the general fund to extend Debbie's contract that we really need. If you want to take it out of your funds, I think you have funds that are available if you want to hire her with those funds. But it's not possible for us to extend. We were to brought her up to date to 2016, and from that time, you were in office and you're responsible for those hours and
Absolutely.
the books from that time. Okay?
Absolutely. Okay.
So that's pretty much the way.
Okay.
I think we all three agree on that. So,
Okay.
but
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You have a good day.
Did you see that? She wrote his Dan,
No. Oh,
and he said he fell short.
Mr. Parker. Oh, I didn't see Dan up here.
Good morning, Commissioners. I do have just a short report. It's not that I haven't been busy, I have been very busy with a number of things. I continue to help with this East Terra Plastics, which I think all of you have met, except for Mark. Mark has not met the new owner. I think you did, and Jane did too, the other day. It's an old building. It has a lot of.
It's deteriorated terribly.
It needs some help, and so we're in the process of working those details out. But it has been a nonstop thing. But their first real day of production should have been yesterday, and I don't think we're close yet, but getting ever closer. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is we continue to support and help with the Stellar, the Regional Stellar application, the initiative for that. That will that'll be decided in December. There will be a big presentation at the state, to Okra in I think it's November, and so I'm weekly involved in a lengthy discussion on behalf of Fayette County for our inclusion in that. Then the other thing I wanted to discuss, and I'll get off of here, is some of the benefits that come from the urban enterprise zone. I don't know that we give that all the airtime it deserves to residents and businesses that are in the zone. If you own a home in the zone and you need facade or improvements to it, they should come to the Economic Development Office at City Hall and get an application. If you have $5,000 worth of repairs, we'll pay up to half of that. It's like free money. You have to have a before and after photo, and you have to show the work's been done, and it's on a reimbursement basis only. We just don't issue a check. We need to see that the work's been completed for a business or a resident. Beyond that, there are some special exception grants that need a lot more detail that we have helped with certainly some nonprofits in the past and will continue to in the future. But I wanted to, usually when we talk about the enterprise zone, it's usually because of the tax deductions that a business can take if they're in the zone. I don't know that the residents and the businesses that are in the zone know that they can get assistance to beautify and help their homes and businesses. And I don't know that we've done the best job in advertising that, and making sure that everyone knows that. We have pretty good financial backing on that right now. So I want to make sure that everybody can get the blessings that come from being in the zone if you want to participate. So that's really all that I have to talk to you about this morning. I appreciate the commissioners, your support of economic development. Mark, you got a question?
Yeah, does that zone go down 121?
Say it again.
That business zone, does it go down 121 by any chance?
Mark, I've got a map that shows you. This is, that is the map.
So we have that put in the paper.
We can, we absolutely can. We
Want
maybe
someone to be aware.
with the newspaper, maybe we
Yeah.
can get a little story on that and get a little more publicity about these zone benefits. They're really great. I mean, they really help.
Dan, on that same subject,
Yes.
you spoke of the free money.
I wouldn't call it free money.
Where's that free money come from?
Well, the businesses, let's just say I'm the XYZ Corporation and my business is in the zone. And I accumulate a tax liability of $100,000 of new personal property and or new for equipment or whatever it happens to be. I can, if I'm in the zone, I don't have to go before a committee. I make out the applications that the state supplies, and I can pay only 25% of that $100,000 tax liability. And that goes into the zone. Then me as the business owner, the $75,000 that I should have paid, I can take that and reinvest that into my business with a number of different things, whether it's physical improvements, vehicle, as long as it's a legal expense that goes to that business.
But it's new investments.
Yes.
It's 25% of the new investments
Well,
tax,
of the tax liability.
of the tax liability
Yeah.
goes into this fund.
Yes.
And then that's what supports,
These,
that's what funds this.
exactly,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. And then, would it be possible, I know it'll take a little bit of legwork from either the auditor's office or the treasurer's office, but once we send out tax statements, would it be possible to earmark the property owners within the enterprise zone and attach that with their tax statement, the information on this program?
That'd be a big task.
Well, I mean, it,
It really,
it's a small percentage of the total partials,
Well-
tax statements that go out.
Oh,
throughout
for
the county.
countywide, you're
Yeah.
right.
I mean, you have a flyer or something there? Does
Yes.
that give the breakdown of
It
the
shows,
program?
it shows the boundaries of the zone.
But it doesn't give the details of the program of,
I've got the details of the program. I've got
just
all
something, what you went through? I
Yes.
mean, I was just thinking somehow,
Make more people aware.
you said it doesn't get enough airtime.
I don't think it
Well,
does.
what better way
Yep.
than to send it with the tax statement?
Like a stocking stuffer,
Yeah.
or a statement stuffer, I guess is what
Yeah.
the proper term is.
Is that, I mean, Jane, you're involved with the tax.
We actually have the treasurer has an outside service that prints and mails the tax statement.
They mail them also.
I believe so.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
I've never had anything to do with that side of it.
Okay.
So-
But that's an ingenious idea. We used it at Hillenbrand to our customers. We put statement stuffers in their monthly bills of new products, features, advantages, benefits, and so forth. So it works. I mean, you see it, you gotta pay that bill, and you know it's there, so what's this?
What's this, you know?
You have a tendency to read it too. But there is certainly some opportunities for residents and businesses, especially, I mean, downtown. I mean, that is the heart of the zone. It extends up to about 21st Street, just north of the D&M building, all the industrial area, Stans, Houghton, all those, they're all in the zone. It goes over pretty far to the east, and then it stops at the bridge and goes a little bit south of town. So it's a big part of the downtown. 21st Street and north, they're not in it, but 21st Street and south is, and it goes I think it goes all the way over to, is it Fayette Street, the last street over by Conwell and all those? I think it goes all the way over to those. So it's a big,
It could help quite
it's a
a few
big,
people.
it's a big, it's a
They
lot of houses.
also have a scholarship available to
Thank
the
you.
children of
Well,
residents in that
there's a-
area.
If you live in the zone, you can pick up $1,000 by making an application. I don't know if anybody's ever been turned down for a scholarship that lives in the zone.
Within the zone.
Yeah, and you have to live in the zone. You can't have a property that's a garage and claim it as, I mean, you gotta really live in the
Yeah.
zone to get it.
Well, and you may not be able to answer this because the enterprise zone has been here for several years, but
Mhm.
how did we create the enterprise zone, and why was it created at the boundary lines that it?
I don't know the exact formula, but what I've been told, and I've attended a conference at the state, because some of the enterprise zones are starting to sunset and go away. Which I hate to see, because I use it as an incentive program. I mean, to me, it beats an abatement, because you don't have to appear in front of a council, there's no additional forms. I mean, if you're in the zone, you're eligible, just by being there. But to answer your question, distressed areas that had fell prey to closures and so forth, that is one of the big factors that caused the creation of enterprise zones throughout the state. I think there's about 13 of them left in the state. Fayette County is one of 13 that remain.
Is there at any point in time where by statute that we are required to analyze that and see if it needs to grow, needs to shrink, needs to?
It was increased once prior to my coming on board, because I've seen the old map, and it didn't increase by much.
Could
And
we
that's,
use it in other parts of the county even? Or
that's a state
question?
Yeah, they regulate it.
Okay.
They honestly do, and it's a great program.
Because we have other
Underutilized.
parts of the county that are,
Oh, they fall in the same kind of category.
I
Sure,
mean,
sure.
going backwards, so
They
to speak.
could use the help. I don't know that they have a rural enterprise association, but who knows?
See, that's what I was
Maybe.
wondering, whether
Yeah.
we could look at enterprise zone and enterprise zone one, or, have two different zones, multiple zones, or?
There are, if you invest in, Fayette County is one of the biggest areas of new market tax credits, and strangely enough, the 58 acres is not included in it. I don't think the Vistion building is included in it. But boy, there's a lot of farmland going west and south, and then it goes right into Franklin. I mean, it's an enormous area. If you would happen to settle a business in that area, you get huge,
State,
this is federal.
federal
To federal.
credits.
You
Okay.
get huge benefits from settling a business in there.
Okay.
I'm glad I didn't prepare anything.
Well, we thank you.
Well, I appreciate the information.
I appreciate you guys and your support, even though it's been diminished a little. I understand. And I appreciate the support that you guys do give us, because it is important to our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Is there any mail? Old business. We need to sign the needle exchange resolution. If we have a corrected copy, I think we've already taken care of that, but I don't know if we have the new copy.
I have not been back to the office to print it since Ann emailed it a while ago.
Oh, okay.
I can, or you can go ahead and pass it.
Can
and
we,
sign it after.
The
Go ahead
dates
and-
have been corrected on it then?
Yes.
It's till the end, or till,
Do you want me to go print?
yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to
It's
sit.
August the 19th.
Just take a short recess. You
Yeah.
can shut the camera off.
Okay, do you want to
Just
do that, or you want to go ahead and?
Or, no,
work
we
on
can't.
that? No, we can't until we complete that.
Till James here, so.
Recess till Jane returns.
It's fun to put stuff like that in there, I think.
Did you say earlier that
He, here in the day that thing.
You have copies of it?
I shouldn't juggle.
No, let me see if I can get it.
Yes. Resolution 1803.
Hello, what's your part-time guy's name? David?
Yeah, Leona.
What's your assistant's name?
Mike
What's his last name?
Berger.
Mike Berger. B-E-R-G-E-R?
B-A-R-G-E-R, yeah, I think so.
Barger?
B-E-R-G-E-R.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
Yeah. Mike Berger. B-E-R-G-E-R. I figured I could solve that problem.
That's the only thing you didn't find. You did find the,
Should have it.
it was, I thought it was.
Yeah, it's not printed. That wasn't done.
So on central side, but
call this meeting back to order. Thank you. We have a new copy.
Now, I have, did you want to see the copy here?
That's your exchange.
Yes. Have you seen it?
Resolution.
I guess I have a question probably for you, Ann. We did a contract with the hospital
Correct.
to do the needle exchange, and the resolution is gonna what?
It just highlights that the health department is no longer handling the needle exchange,
Okay.
which is implied in the contract, but I think the health department wanted something more explicit,
Okay.
and that's what that is.
All right, okay.
This is to clarify that the health department is no longer involved, that the hospital is totally handling the syringe exchange program in Fayette County. All right. I accept the motion to,
I'll move to accept.
Second.
been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This would be numbered as a resolution, correct, Jane?
Yes, 18R3.
We can sign it when we're signing everything else. We have an offer to purchase real estate.
I'm assuming that's the version.
We're making an offer to Ed Connect to purchase a former Dollar General store located at Central Avenue and Third Street in Connersville, Indiana, for the sum of $110,550. Possession of said property shall be given on the date of closing.
I move that we sign
Offer to
the
purchase.
offer to purchase.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Okay, some more papers to sign.
And then we have an ordinance for the,
Well, Diana's got a public transit agreement she wants us to.
We need this fair housing ordinance
Fair.
approved also for that. That was one of the requirements of the Everton
under old
Waterfront
business.
grant.
Oh, we have a fair housing ordinance that had to be signed because of the grant from the Everton Water Bureau to whoever they made it to.
I'll move to sign the fair housing ordinance.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to sign the fair housing agreement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
And that'll also be numbered as an ordinance number, correct, Jane?
We're just getting all kinds of ordinances today.
Yeah, ordinance,
Outside.
resolutions.
Let's go to the bossy people.
We haven't done very many though, have we?
Okay. Diana,
Like them.
would you like to present your grant request?
We received in the mail, we being the Fayette County Public Transit, received in the mail the contract for the 2019 operating grant. I just need some signatures on that to send it in.
Okay.
Do you need a motion to
Sure, that'd be great.
proceed with
Yep.
the application?
Well, the application's been done, it's approved, this is just the final paperwork, the
Okay.
contract.
I move that we sign as a board, sign the final contract.
It just requires Leota's signature, the
Okay.
president of the commissioners,
I'll second the motion.
and James as well, to attest to that.
Been moved and seconded to sign the request for the grant for the public transit service. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you.
Approval of claims and payroll.
I'll move to approve payroll and claims.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve payroll claims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
Now, the only question I have, because we're gonna have to get the paperwork ready and possibly have ask the council to meet in special session for an appropriation for the offer to purchase. The only question that I have, and it's been said that there's a fund that Community Corrections has money in,
Yeah.
that they're willing to pay for the cost of the building. My only concern is if we purchase that building out of those funds, we are pretty well obligated that building's to be used for Community Corrections.
Yeah.
I thought we should purchase it from our land acquisition
Yeah, I think so too. And
and
then
fund
use
it.
their money to do the improvements.
And they can do the improvements if the Board of Commissioners decide that that's where Community Corrections needs to expand to. So I would move that we seek an additional appropriation through the land acquisition fund.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved and seconded to get the money for the building from the land acquisition fund rather than allow Community Corrections to pay for it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
Jane, how quickly would we be able to process that and get the council to act on it?
You have to advertise at least 10 days
10
prior to the
days.
meeting, so, yeah, I'll have to,
Kind of do the calendar and
let's see, Thursday. Yeah.
October 11th.
I'll get,
could be somewhere around the 11th or so. Well, it's business days, isn't it? Isn't it 10
yeah,
business
if
days?
it can be in the paper by Thursday, 7, 8, 9, maybe we could possibly ask them to meet the 16th, the evening of the 16th, might be.
Is that the,
That's our regular meeting.
is that our regular meeting? Yeah.
It is for us,
Yeah.
it's not for
It
them.
would be like 12 days.
So, and then it would have to go to the state for approval, or,
After the council approves it, yes, it would go on.
so
to
how quickly
DLGF.
could we do something with Mr. Cannett if, after that? In theory.
It depends, because different people at DLGF process those requests, and I've had some that was like a 1-day turnaround. I had one that was about 6 weeks. I had to follow up 2 or 3 times, and, yeah, so I can't make any promises. I mean, the normal would be within 2 weeks.
Okay. So by the end of the month, most likely.
Yes.
We could-
I would think before our November meeting.
Does, Ann, could you relay that with the offer to purchase? And I know he was kind of
I think that'll be fine.
on a deadline.
That'll be fine.
Okay, all right. Good, great.
That's kind of the timeframe I gave him.
Okay.
Whenever I spoke to him,
Okay,
I said end of the month or beginning of November, so.
all right, great. Does that take care of everything that we need to do at this meeting to get that ball rolling then, as far as the
Yes.
additional and everything? Okay.
Yeah, we ought to name that.
Diane, I need your
Academy of
autograph on
Hard Knocks.
these. And which one is James is it blue one? I think this is the one.
Something like that.
There's the blue ink.
We'll get graduation certificates out.
Okay.
So you got all the motions, didn't you, for paying, so we can start signing.
We will assume real estate taxes due and payable in May. We'll pay taxes next year. I don't think we need to pay November taxes.
No, no, whatever's customary.
Okay, we might as well sign this one first. I think all this goes together.
only just
Is
requires
anything-
one signature, doesn't it? Or does it, did she make for all three of us? Yeah.
I think we got this, and we got here, so we'll pay for. It doesn't say. It has a blank for earnest money. And it has, seller will pay for. Who's gonna pay closing cost? And did he ask us to pay closing cost, or is he going to pay them?
We haven't discussed that.
I don't wanna sign this until that's filled in.
Okay.
Do we offer to split it?
That sounds reasonable. I'll just put down, we will pay for half. If he doesn't like it, then he'll have to come back.
I mean, we're making an offer, so that we
Yeah.
we offer to pay half. He can reject it, or
Fire. Fayette County Board of Commissioners. See what you like about that or don't like. All right. Fair housing ordinance. How many people have to sign this one in here?
and I am, you look at it and see.
This second thing. October. Maybe those signatures go on this one. Yes, Jane. Too many pieces of paper up here today. Jane, does this have to be changed to?
Yeah,
Fayette County.
will have to be redone. I assume our attorney's gonna do that for us.
Okay.
So I'll do it this afternoon and have you sign it.
Okay. Very good. 611. And that goes there.
Does it look correct on that? Does it look correct? Or what we want?
Go, kid.
Don't forget, all that has to come my way for copies first,
The offer?
Yeah.
Yes.
and the resolution,
And, okay.
everything.
Do you have the resolution still?
Yes.
Jane?
Were those three signatures
Yeah,
part of
she
the
has to
offer
make copies.
package? Or were they part of this? They went with this?
That, yeah.
Okay.
That didn't have the names filled in the lines, it just had all blanks.
That
Yeah.
is for the resolution.
Right.
That-
Yes.
Okay.
So we need to probably all sign that underneath. For the purpose.
You said for the county. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
just put a signature on it.
Yeah. Okay, those two go together.
We'll just, all three sign.
Okay.
The signature page was for the resolution.
So, yeah, and this is
Needle
for the
exchange.
purchase.
Resolution.
David, do you need this 911 letter?
Yes. But you need copies.
I would say, I need it first.
She needs it first. Okay, she's gotta have copies of everything. Okay.
And then what else? The housing ordinance, you need
Can't
it
sign
back.
it yet.
We can
because,
sign the signature page, can't we, or?
I don't know. That was the sample ordinance that had been attached and
Or do you
No,
want us
because
to?
it says Town of Americana.
Okay,
I think we need to have all of that
it
changed.
needs to be changed.
I won't be changing any substance of what you had previously reviewed. I'll just be changing where it says sample. I'll be filling in
Yeah.
the county name.
You got that? Because there's, I think that's what Diana.
That was
said.
Diane, yeah, the copy of what she brought us to.
Yeah. Because that's not our signature page. She brought it to the other.
Bob, did you get that email?
Second from here.
Oh, okay. All right, just let me know if you didn't.
Thank you.
If you want to just go through my office and copy this.
Sure.
If you leave a version on my desk, I won't make you sit here and wait.
Okay. I had to ask a question anyway, so,
Oh,
yeah, no big deal about it.
Jane, did the middle school girls go to Franklin County last night?
yeah,
How'd they do?
they won.
Did they
Yeah.
win too?
Yeah. We placed 5 of our 6 runners in the top 10.
5 of the.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was an awesome night.
So was that just against Franklin County, or was that a
Rushville.
three-way thing? Well, good. That's.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cody didn't tell us last night whether it was more than one team or not.
Yeah.
He just sent us a text and said that I forget what he said. He got
I think we've signed.
second?
Yeah. Well,
I
he was
think-
second on the team.
Yeah.
He did good. We done?
Is there anything else that needs to come before us?
Not that I'm aware of.
You think we've autographed everything we need to?
Got all the signatures? For everything?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.